Well, we finally gotten to the 40,000 foot operating level.
Yeah.
We've talked about the qualities of a business that can be run at the 40,000 foot level already, but let's talk about what it's like for that individual to be that operator. What does it look like every day? And then what are the things you have to be really good at? So I think of this as like the chairman of the board, someone who's highly involved in the strategy of the company, but not responsible for any of the results, essentially. Not thinking day to day, not thinking week to week, not thinking month to month, but essentially assigning what our priorities are for the business to a CEO and executive team to run with, and then holding them accountable.
Well, are we being consistent with our vision and our mission and our culture? How are we making good decisions based on data? Right. So they're the guys also scanning the instruments. They're getting reports. They're the guy who the venture capitalists or the private equity guys don't. When the private equity guys come around, the guys out in the shop don't know who that is. Right.
Yeah.
But they are responsible. They're the figurehead in the middle level management, that they have that person in their mind, or at least that's the way I imagine it. They're what would WWJD, right? What would the boss do? They're at that level of managing the company too, but they have data and they are the keepers of the next steps.
Yeah. It's almost like the air traffic control. I'm trying to come up with this analogy on the fly, but air traffic control for the pilot. You've found a new pilot for the plane, and now you're telling that plane, hey, this is where hey, you're off course a little bit, or this is what time I need you to land, or whatever it is. Not that detailed. I don't know that you need the pilot to have
that's a little
autonomy, but
that's getting into operations a little bit.
Yeah.
It's the company that flies that plane. Maybe its vision and mission is. I follow a guy on Instagram that is a missionary pilot, flies a Cessna Caravan in some of the wildest dang. I don't even know where it is, but it's mountainous jungle. But his mission and the mission of the charity he runs is to serve those people. Now, when he flies in, is he high or low? That's up to him and people on the ground who are telling him things.
Yeah.
I don't know. You can get in trouble trying to come up with metaphors.
Yeah, probably a bad metaphor. We'll keep it in, but we'll edit it out. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. It's good.
No. Okay. I think some of their qualities, never really in the office, not required in the office for sure. Keeper of the vision is something that we talked about beforehand, but just really making sure. I have a really good story about this. I learned of this yesterday, actually. So Chick-fil-A in the 90s, most compared to what was once called Boston Chicken, now Boston Market, if you're familiar with it. Not big here in Oklahoma, but definitely on the East Coast and even in Texas and some other areas. It used to be called Boston Chicken. And essentially Boston Chicken's way of growth was having more menu items, offering really good quality, but convenience for all these different items. They rebranded from Boston Chicken to Boston Market, start offering mashed potatoes and gravy and meatloaf and all this kind of stuff, right? So Chick-fil-A was meeting as their executive team, talking about how they're going to grow, how they're going to continue to get bigger. And they were, toying with this Boston Chicken, Boston Market model, more freestanding locations. At this time, they were exclusively in malls, right? And Truett Cathy, the founder of Chick-fil-A, was typically the quiet guy in these meetings and didn't say much, but he banged his fist on the table and he said, if we get better, our customers will demand that we get bigger. And we don't need to try to get bigger to be better. We just need to be better, and then our customers will demand that we get bigger. And that's kind of the level that we're talking of. Let's keep the keeper of the vision, who doesn't meddle in the day-to-day operations or anything like that, doesn't even say much. But when something falls out of line with the vision, just beats their fist down and said, no, like we need to get better. And anyways, so that's an example of that chairman of the board, that 40,000 foot operator. I think another thing is you've got to be a very good coach, not someone who's going to be an authoritarian, someone who tells exactly what the CEO needs to do, exactly what the CFO needs to do, exactly what any COO needs to do, but more so coaches them through problems and just acts as a sounding board and a wise sage, if you will, so that they can still have autonomy, they can still do their role, but they have the support they need. They feel like they have someone behind them that understands what's going on and is going to help them think through the problems that they're thinking through, that they're dealing with.